Beautiful friend, on September 7th, we're going to have a total lunar eclipse in the deeply intuitive, highly sensitive, very creative water sign of Pisces. This lunar eclipse is going to harmonize beautifully with expansive Jupiter, bringing blessings and good fortune to some of us. And it also opposes Mercury, so we can expect to receive some healing, potentially life-shifting insights as we are releasing, letting go of an old dream, an old life chapter, even an old version of ourselves, so that we can make room for a new vision, a new heart's desire that is calling you into your divine destiny. Lunar eclipses are supercharged full moons. They bring quantum leaps, unexpected events. We call them wildcard energies for a reason. So in this video, I'm excited to share with you what you can expect from this lunar eclipse in Pisces. And this is the superpower of astrology, is that it helps us prepare for these kinds of events so that we can flow with them rather than resist the tide of what is meant to be washing away and what is meant to be coming into shore for each and every one of us. In part one, I want to share with you the themes that you can expect. Who will most feel these energies? When we last had eclipses at the same degree point in Pisces, and I want to give you some tips for how you can move through this lunar eclipse with the most ease and grace. In part two, as always, I will be doing readings for all 12 signs. Listen to your sun, moon, and rising sign. Your rising sign will tell you where this is happening in your natal astrology chart. Your sun and moon signs will give you additional themes that may very well be applicable, and I will pull an oracle card for each of the signs as well. This is going to be a profound eclipse for many of you, and I am very excited to share with you what is likely to occur. But before I do that, I want to say hello and welcome if you have just found the channel. This is a like-minded community. If you are on a spiritual path, an empath, or on an ascension journey, you are in the right place. Take a moment right now to tap the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. And a warm welcome back to those of you who have subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much for your support. I'm Betsy Gutting. I'm a psychic astrologer, intuitive life coach, and the author of the book, The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling. It is always my intention to empower and inspire you through Western tropical astrology. I do astrology consultations. Stay tuned till the end of the video. I'll tell you more about my offerings, and I do have a free gift for you. I also write about the astrology between videos, so if you would like to receive my weekly inspirational astrology updates before they go out on social media, go to my website, subscribe for free, and you will get my free instant download gift at the same time. So why are lunar eclipses so impactful? During a lunar eclipse, the sun, the earth, and the moon align. The earth, in the center of the sun and the moon, casts a shadow on the moon, and this is why the moon appears to be that red coppery hue. Eclipses are associated with fated endings, with insights and awarenesses that we didn't have before. Often there's a revelation or a truth that comes to light, and this can bring great freedom when we see what's been holding us back. For example, a limiting belief that we can release and step more fully into our power. Eclipses occur when the full moon aligns with the lunar nodes of destiny and fate. And this intensifies this feeling of karma, of a soul contract ending or soul lessons completing, so they can feel like full circle graduation moments. They can feel like I'm finally letting go of this heavy weight, this emotional weight that I've been carrying. And this is why we say something can get eclipsed out of our life during a lunar eclipse especially. So of course, this is people, situations, jobs, careers even, sometimes marriages or business partnerships. Sometimes a health issue comes to light. We always want to pay attention to that, especially during an eclipse. But what I love about eclipses is they accelerate our path. They can bring quantum leaps. It can be an experience that we look back on and say, that's when my life really changed for the better. It can be discombobulating, no question, when it's happening, but it shows us what we didn't see before a lot of the time and makes it easier to make a course correction, a pivot, as we say. So all full moons, including lunar eclipses, are when the sun and the moon are opposite each other. And during this lunar eclipse in Pisces, we have the moon in Pisces opposite the sun in Virgo. In our Pisces energy, we go into our imaginations, connect with a vision, and we begin to co-create that vision or that dream or that heart's desire from the inside out. Then that dream in Pisces gets filtered down into Virgo energy, which is an earth sign, and helps us to bring it into earthly reality. So both the Pisces and Virgo energies are at play during this eclipse. This eclipse, because it's lunar, is happening on the Pisces-Virgo axis. And whatever you're bringing into reality, because this is both an ending this eclipse and a new dream, something new that we're moving toward, it could very well have to do with your daily work, your routines, your schedules, your physical body, your health, your wellness on any level, and your lifestyle. Big picture, it's the question of, is my life, the way that I have it set up, working for me now? And does it feel healthy for me, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, or physically? So if this eclipse is activating your natal astrology chart, which I will tell you about a little bit further into the video, you are likely to experience an ending, something coming to manifestation or fruition, and it could be a peak moment for you. So it's not just something getting eclipsed out of your life. It could be where you're reaching the pinnacle of a goal that you set some time ago. Now, because the North Node of Destiny is in Pisces, conjuncting the moon, this makes this a North Node eclipse, which means it's supporting us to move toward the next phase of our soul's destiny. So in that way, it's very exciting to our human self because our human self always wants to move forward. But the sun in Virgo opposite the moon in Pisces is conjunct the South Node, and the South Node says we have to release and let go of the shadow side of Virgo energy, and that's things like perfectionism, trying to get it right, so much so that we stress ourselves out, being too detail focused, and also releasing a karmic soul cycle, lesson, or contract with another person. Now, the timeline for this eclipse began when we first started having eclipses on the Pisces-Virgo axis, which was September 2024, and the last eclipse on this axis will be February of 2027. In reality, eclipse season, the one that we're in right now, really began with the Virgo new moon that happened at the anaretic degree of 0, which is super intense, and it was squared by the Great Awakener Uranus that tends to bring shocks and sudden events that we didn't see coming. So a lot of us had a doozy of a Virgo new moon that could have felt like an eclipse. And there's no question it was readying us, preparing us, opening us up to what will come in the next two eclipses, beginning with this total lunar eclipse in Pisces. It is likely that this eclipse season of September 2025 is going to play out over the next 6 months. And for some of us, it will play out over the next 6 months to 2 years, up until February of 2027, when we have the very last eclipse on this axis. So we want to look at the themes of every lunation because it is the themes of the sign which the eclipse is in that tell us how we can best work with the energies. What is being asked of us? How are we being supported? Pisces energy is deep water. It's connected to the ocean, and that is boundaryless. You can't divide up the ocean. And the idea here is that we are all one. We are all as drops of this entire ocean. And in some ways, we're inseparable. But of course, our egos do draw boundaries. We need that in order to feel safe and secure in this world, in order to function as earthly beings. But Pisces is associated with the ethereal realms. It is the imagination. It is connected to compassion, forgiveness, to going with the flow of life. And to a certain degree, it is that term surrender, which means that there are certain things that, as much as we humans, our egos, try to control the ins and outs of our lives, there are certain things that cannot be controlled. We all know this. We still try, but we know that they can't be controlled. That a lot of what goes on is not of our own making. Because Pisces is a mutable sign, this means changeable, flexible. That allows us to release and let go of what is already leaving, what we can't control, and to embrace the space that is being made by whatever we are closing out, if we're closing something out. Now, you may not be walking away from a job. You may not be ending a relationship. You may not be doing something that feels like a very clear ending, but Pisces energy is also how it's very much connected to how we use our energy. And not only that, it's connected to our beliefs about what we're capable of, our self-worth. A lot of times in Pisces energy, we can have self-doubt. We can feel like no matter how hard we try, things just don't come out the way we wanted them to. So you may, my friend, be releasing a habit or a way of being that has been sabotaging you, such as overworking, self-sacrificing, always feeling like you are trying so hard, you are showing up, you're giving it your all, and yet you feel like somehow you get the short end of the stick. In other words, this eclipse is saying, where do you need to set a boundary, take back your energy, and rebalance your life? And also very important, give yourself empathy and compassion for the way you've done things up until now, because in Pisces energy too, it's connected to the 12th house of endings. It's connected to losses. It's connected to setbacks. And so if you've had a loss or a so-called failure that you are circling back to when you feel down, this eclipse is saying it is time to put that story, tie it in a bow, wrap it up, and put it in the compost pile or throw it on the bonfire. Because this is an eclipse to wipe the slate clean of our past and any losses. Connect with the lesson that you got from it. Every loss brings an opportunity for growth. Understand what you learned from it and then let it go. Because we are sailing into new waters now, and that's exciting. But we can't do that without emotional baggage if we are still holding a grievance against ourselves or a grievance against another. Pisces is co-ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. Jupiter is that very expansive energy, the good fortune, the blessings, and it helps us to tap into faith, and it helps us to understand that we are spiritually protected. Neptune energy is that higher vision, the ethereal realms, a deep soul's longing often, and it's often an ideal. If I just had this, my life would feel happy. If I just were able to create this, bring it into reality, then I'd be happy. That can be the voice of Neptune. But it's also Neptune that inspires us to create great art, amazing, super inspiring books and movies and music. And the lesson of Neptune is that we all have a creative imagination. So many people say, I'm not creative. Yes, we were all born to be creative. We create food. We choose the clothes that we want to wear. That's a creation. We create our lives through our choices and decisions. So we're all creative. And not only this, we are born to overcome obstacles through our creativity. However, Pisces also rules the deep unconscious and our emotional world and our dream states. And that can just feel like very muddy waters at times. Our subconscious beliefs, our conditioning, our programming, which often is very subconscious or unconscious to us. And so this eclipse may reveal to you a belief that you have been holding or an emotional weight that you've been carrying connected to a belief or your past programming that you can release. And how freeing and liberating is that? It's tremendously freeing. So I want to give you a few bullet points on what you may feel during this eclipse time. You could feel like there's something that you have been doing or experiencing or a structure in your life, a commitment that you have had that you no longer care about it. I don't care anymore. I don't have energy for this. I've given it my all. I have to let it go. And we all have a way of operating, right? Some of us work too much. Others of us do too much unhealthy escape. Some of us may escape into substances. Whatever it is, if this eclipse is activating any planets or points in your chart closely, you may be releasing a way of operating that has sabotaged your enjoyment of life or your ability to be successful, whatever success is for you. You could feel super nostalgic during this eclipse. Do not be surprised if you have flashbacks to other moments in your life. If you feel like you're doing a life review, you're looking back on your life, you could even feel like you're standing on the top of the mountain and surveying what has happened up until now and realizing that what you have called a loss or a setback has actually been a blessing because it's transformed you and it's allowed you to help other people going through something similar. Because unless we experience the pain and the suffering of some of the hardest things we've ever gone through, right, we're not able to often really be fully present with someone else going through something similar. You could also feel during this eclipse that you are between worlds. As I said, I think it's going to be very emotional. Some of us are going to cry lots of tears, but you may not even know why you're crying tears. And that is because before our human self understands what's happening, our soul makes a decision. The soul moves on from something before the human self understands what's going on often. And so, for example, several years before my marriage actually ended, I had a summer where I call it my summer of tears, where I just cried. I was just so emotional and I didn't know why I was emotional. I was constantly releasing tears. And it took me a good year to understand what was actually going on, what I was actually grieving. So be extra gentle with yourself, my friend, during this eclipse time. If you feel disillusioned, disappointed, victimized even, or feeling like what's the use, even trying to create change is futile, just know that this often is part of the Pisces releasing and letting go process. Our human self does identify with the loss because we have to grieve the loss, but we are meant to move on from it and shift our identity from what we lost to who we are now as a result of having the experience that we had. But we have to give ourselves that opportunity to grieve. So if you feel like escaping and it's more of an unhealthy escape and you kind of know on some level that you're running away from your emotions, Pisces energy can make us feel very overwhelmed emotionally. I highly encourage you to do some sort of practice where you connect to your emotions, where you feel fully through them and you let them release. Because that is often where we discover that program that has been running in the background of our hard drive. In Pisces Virgo energy, it can be a feeling that you have to be good. You have to earn love. You have to earn acceptance. You need to do certain things or serve other people in order to feel needed. And for this belief, which I think many people may realize and release during this eclipse, I love the quote from Mary Oliver where she says, "You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk through the desert for 100 miles on your knees repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves." You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. So who will most feel this total lunar eclipse in Pisces, which is happening at 15 degrees? Those of you who have planets or points between 11 and 19 degrees of Pisces or the other mutable signs of Virgo, Gemini, or Sagittarius, you will feel this eclipse most intensely, most personally. Of course, we're all going to feel it on a collective level, and the themes that I share with you in your 12-sign readings, you will very likely feel even if you don't have a very close activation to one of your planets or points. If you have Pisces or Virgo on your ascendant, descendant, midheaven, or IC, the fourth house cusp, you may feel this eclipse more intensely. It may feel like more of a turning point, like something really that is closing out in your life or a big peak moment. But keep in mind that for a lot of us, there are a number of planets or points, or more than one, that are often activated during an eclipse. And this is where the full story comes into picture for you. And this is how I help clients in astrology readings by synthesizing how an eclipse is activating your chart. So let's go through the aspects, and then I'm going to tell you when we last had a lunar eclipse at the same degree point or around the same degree point in Pisces. The moon in Pisces is going to oppose Mercury in Virgo. And this is important because Mercury is connected to our thoughts, our conversations, our inner narrative, the stories we tell ourselves about why we can have something or can't have something, our power, feeling powerful or powerless. And Mercury also rules insights and divine downloads. So I think this is going to be an eclipse where we are getting information, we're receiving communications from another because it's an opposition, you and the other opposite from you, that makes a difference in some way. For some people, it could be someone knocking on their door, calling them up saying, let's partner in something. Or can we go out on a date? Or would you like to talk about collaborating on something? It's also an opportunity to rewire the subconscious mind and release the mindset of lack that is holding you back. And collectively in our world, because of the Mercury influence, we are likely to see some headlines that make waves during this eclipse. The moon will make a trine, the best aspect that we can get, the best feeling aspect to Jupiter in Cancer. And so this is lovely. This is expansive. Jupiter in Cancer wants emotional security. This is connected to home, family, and bonding. So a Pisces moon, which is already puts us in the warm, sweet feelings. Pisces is a very sweet emotional energy in its highest octave. And you put that together with Jupiter in Cancer that wants to be affectionate and wants to bond. This may be very healing to that part of you that wants to feel a sense of belonging, a sense of rootedness, a sense of other people in my life or one other person in my life has my back. I am not doing this life alone. And if you don't have someone like that in your life right now, my friend, tune into the divine. We have spirit helpers all around us. You know, those of us on a spiritual path, we're meant to work with our spiritual guides. I know it can get old when you feel like I need human touch. I need someone, a real human person in flesh sitting next to me on the couch with their arms around me. I get that. I totally get that. But in my book, The Magic of Saying Yes, I talk with you about different ways that you can deepen your relationship with the divine, and that can make a whole world of difference, especially if you're someone who hasn't felt the fulfillment from relationships in your life that your soul really longs for. Now, Saturn in Pisces is not conjunct this moon. They are too far apart, but Saturn is still co-present with the moon. And so there is still that background theme of allowing the old energies to wash away. And not only this, to make sure we are really being fiercely honest with ourselves about what we want to continue and to set very clear boundaries to protect what we're passionate about. Keep in mind too that we still have going on a harmonic that is happening between the outer planets of Pluto in Aquarius, Uranus in Gemini, and Neptune in Aries. There is a magical triangle, also known as a minor grand trine, and it's not minor at all. It is a deeply profound harmonic that is anchoring us, I believe, in the new energy grid, if you will, that is of the higher vibration of the new earth. And this is creating inspiration for us with new technology, breakthroughs in communications and information, but very much too, and this is very important, freeing us to say yes to our hearts. Uranus freeing us to do things our way, Gemini, with soul sisters and soul brothers and in community to the degree that that lights us up. I should also note that many of us are going to feel a desire to get going, to get moving during this eclipse. Why? Because Mars in Libra, Mars is our mojo and our drive and our, the part of us that wants to get into action. It is going to square Jupiter in Cancer, which could be a lot of overflowing enthusiasm. And, that's beautiful as long as we aren't burning out or going to excess, which we can do with the Jupiter square. But also Mars in Libra is sextiling, a very harmonious aspect, sextiling Venus in Leo. So this could be quite a romantic eclipse. It's really great for relationships and lovely for taking action in anything that lights you up. Love, money, beauty, pleasure, finances. Very positive, but also lovely for spending time with children or delighting your own inner child. Okay, so the last time that we had a lunar eclipse in Pisces, when the North Node was also in Pisces, was September 7th, 2006, and the lunar eclipse was also at 15 degrees. So same date, same degree of 2006. And you may want to look back and see what, if anything, occurred around that time for you. I always like to give the caveat that if it was something really difficult, it does not mean that that's happening again. There are different transits going on this time. It's not just the eclipse energy. So only look at the themes. And I'll give you a quick example for me. The eclipse was conjunct my south node and my midheaven in Pisces, exactly conjunct as it will be this time around. My divorce was final that month. There was a tremendous freedom and elation that I felt from finally being over with the whole divorce process, which, if anyone has gone through that, you know how painful that is. And so I finally felt like that was over and done. And I was surprised at the emotional weight that I felt was lifted. The time before that, we had an eclipse on September 6th, 1998. That was a North Node lunar eclipse in Pisces. It was at 14 degrees. Because the eclipse was conjunct my midheaven, which is career, it showed up this time as a career shift. I had already left the practice of law. I had been doing a travel writing job, but the company that I was doing travel writing for, which I had been doing for 3 years, and it was part-time and was out of my home, and it was actually such a perfect job for me as a mom raising my kids. But the company was being bought out and they had their own writers, and so they didn't need me anymore. So I was let go. But that began my quest for my passion. That began my soul searching, a very important soul searching period for me, in which I shortly after began to devour every spiritual book that I could possibly read, trying to figure out what I could do out of my home that would fulfill me. And that was quite an awakening time for me. So go back to your life. Go back to September of 2006. Go back to September of 1998 and notice if there were any themes or any events that happened in your life, which could be a foreshadowing of the themes, only the themes that are happening this time around. Okay, a few tips for navigating this eclipse. Number one, go slow and go with the flow. Be present as you possibly can in the now. The veil is thin during eclipse time. The veil is extra thin during a Pisces lunar eclipse because Pisces is the other realms. And so what we really want to do is to feel the feelings, notice the emotions that are coming up, and get quiet enough, whether it's through meditation or contemplation or just sitting on the floor and being, get quiet enough so that we can hear the intuitive nudges of our soul. You can do a letting go, releasing ritual. Really big picture, this eclipse is just about receiving your heart's guidance. Your soul always knows the truth. Your soul always knows what is pulling you forward. Everything you need is absolutely within you. As Michelangelo replied when he was asked, how did he create the statue of David? He said, it's simple. I just removed everything that was not David. So this eclipse is supporting you to release anything that is not the true you, so that you can, one baby step at a time, move into the flow of your soul's whispers. Okay, my friends, let us do the 12 sign readings now. Listen to your rising sign. That is the area of your life in which you will experience this eclipse. And also listen to your sun and your moon sign for further themes and intuitive messages that you will get through my readings and the cards. So we're going to start with Pisces because beautiful Pisces, this is your lunar eclipse. If you have planets or points close to 15 degrees where this eclipse is happening, you're going to feel this most intensely, most personally. The first house, for those of you who are Pisces risings, is your identity. It's the house of you. This is the roles that you play professionally, in your work or in your personal life. And so it's any title that you say when you describe yourself. And so you could be releasing or stepping into a new role. Some of you, for example, could be becoming parents. Some of you could be ending a relationship, and so the status of your relationship could change. Some of you could be deciding to leave a job and doing something that you're more passionate about, that's more in alignment with your life purpose, that feels more like a vocation. Some of you could be taking a sabbatical, or you could have left a job or separated from somebody that you were with, and you are deciding around this eclipse time whether you want to go back to that or whether you want to just put it in your past completely. Some of you are embracing a new spiritual identity. You are realizing that some of the things that went on in your life that have to do with a role or your own identity, what you identify. Our identity really is what we say when we say the words I am. And it can be something as, it could be a role in a job, but it can also be like, I am a dancer, or I am a celebrator of life. It doesn't have to be something, or I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. That's an identity too. And in Pisces energy, we are very much supported when we have a loss or a setback or what we would call a failure. We're very much supported to take on a new identity as the phoenix that has risen from the ashes, as somebody that has survived from that loss or that setback and is now deciding to thrive based on a new identity. And so we are the ones who create that new identity, right? So you can see this can be a lot of different things. Some of you may be going from working for another person to working for yourselves, as an example. But the whole goal, of course, for this eclipse and in Pisces energy is to reflect, do something, take on an identity, release an identity, all because you are meant to express your true self more authentically and experience more flow in your life, more balance, more joy, less overgiving, less sacrifice. That's what we can do in Pisces energy. Often we don't even know we're doing that because Pisces, you have a very altruistic heart. You, I believe, came to this planet really wanting to transcend the earthly reality in the sense of seeing things from a higher perspective, wanting to be compassionate, forgiving. A lot of people with strong Pisces have had to, because that's what the cycles of their life have brought them to. They've had to really embrace those spiritual qualities, and in so doing you have become the spirit of pure love. You more and more probably identify with that, and I know these are generalizations, not everyone will relate to what I'm saying, but through our losses we do become those people that often want to help others. And so something like that could be happening too. You could be stepping into, for the first time, a spiritually based career, or you could be retiring. See that when you have an eclipse on your first house, it can affect any angle of your chart: career, home, relationships. You could be leaving a relationship or starting one, taking one to the next level. You could be shifting, moving from your home, shifting your career. Also, I wanted to say that the sun is going to be in your 7th house. So this is really happening on the first 7th house axis, which means that you will have an experience of whatever you choose or decide. If you are at a turning point or a crossroads or course correction in your life, it will probably impact one or more of your relationships as well. Or it could be a relationship choice that then impacts the other angles of your chart that I just mentioned, or your identity, status, and so on. So Pisces, let me shuffle for you and we'll see what the cards have to say. For this lunar eclipse, I'm excited for this. It's for those of us, including me. I said in the first part of this video, I have my midheaven and my south node in Pisces. Those of us who are really being impacted, and I don't even like that word impacted. For those of us who are being activated, I like that so much more, because the activation is our soul being activated, and that could bring new light codes in. It really feels to me that we are our emotional load is being lightened. Where the light is coming through. And I don't just mean like you know, the light from the higher consciousness. I don't just mean energetic light. I get a strong feeling, and this, I've already been going through this myself on an individual level, personal level, that we're being shown what beliefs or thoughts or, you know, just the way we framed things in our life, we're being shown what is no longer serving us, so that we can be aware of it and let it go. And that's tremendously freeing. Okay, so Pisces, let me pull. I shuffled for you. We'll shuffle for another minute here, and then I will pull a card for you. Okay. Pisces. Straddling worlds. Yep, doesn't get much more Piscean than this. Wandering between realms. You cannot make this stuff up. Check it out. So first of all, I always associate purple energy with Pisces, the seventh chakra. And if you look closely, it's kind of hard to see because this is a very etherical, I don't think that's a word, etheric image. But there is somebody who's doing like a warrior, like a yoga warrior pose here. This is their knee. And this is their other back leg, and they're leaning backwards. Reverse warrior, I think that's what it's called. And they're in their power, right? They're hugely in their power. This arm raised up, the head back. It looks like it could be a phoenix, very feathery person, angelic person. And then we have the earth. It looks like the earth above. So it could be a full moon, but it's green. So if you feel like you're wandering between realms, first of all, take back your power in this earthly realm, ground your energy. And second of all, just invite in the light. You see all this light? This person's in a warrior pose, like a divine warrior pose. They're saying their arm is reaching up to the heavens, acknowledging their divine source and receiving that divine power. It's a very empowering image. Straddling worlds, Pisces, you know this already. And if you're feel like you're really in between decisions or worlds, that is exactly where you're meant to be right now. You are exactly where you are, quote unquote, supposed to be as you move toward your divine destiny. Aquarius, Aquarius, beautiful Aquarius. You are going to experience this total lunar eclipse in your second house. So, what is the second house? First of all, a total lunar eclipse is an ending, a completion, something washing away, something leaving, or a peak experience, manifestation. Go back and watch the first part of this video if you haven't already. I give lots more information that will be nuggets that you can really use during this eclipse for your empowerment. But a second house eclipse has to do with your material security, your earned income, your possessions, your self-love, self-worth, knowing that you deserve all that you truly desire. So this is very, very important. Why is it so important? Because if we don't feel deserving, if we don't feel worthy of the material security that our hearts need to feel happy, then we want to change that. We want to change that. So this is a great eclipse to shift if that's true for you. It's a great eclipse to shift anything that is blocking you from feeling like all of your material needs are met. Now, on a very practical level, some of you could be walking away from an income. Some of you could be taking on a new side gig to earn more money, or do something that you're passionate about. Some of you could finally be purchasing something that you've been wanting to purchase for a long time. The sun will be in the 8th house, so it's happening on your 2nd and 8th house axis, and that is the financial axis, and the 8th house is more long-term financial foundational things like real estate, retirement funds, all investments, loans, taxes, also emotional and sexual intimacy. So because it's on that axis, you could be, that's the second house is self-reliance in you and your money. The 8th house is our money. So if you are going through any sort of a change or shift, and that involves negotiating with another person, dividing up assets, or making decisions together as partners, then that could come up for you too during this eclipse. And Mercury is a big player in this eclipse because it's opposing the moon. And so, that means that we're going to have a lot more conversations. But I go through the aspects in part 1 of this video, so I'm not going to go through them again. But it is very fortunate in the sense that Jupiter is talking to the moon in a very harmonious way as well, and that's quite supportive. So Aquarius, let me shuffle. Oops, one fell out, so we're going to take that one. And I love this card. This card is the Horseman, and it's Herald of Change, which is what eclipses are about. They're about change, but look what's going on in this card. This card reminds me of the wild card eclipse energy. There's so much light completely surrounding, and it looks like there are orbs of light that are coming this way through this person's heart, their back and into their heart. And clearly, it looks like they're taking some sort of a risk, right? They're not afraid. The horse is up on its hind legs, and to me, this card's about freedom. Plain and simple, you are being freed. You are being encouraged to take a risk if you haven't taken one, and that's what's needed to step into your next thing, whatever that is for you. It's number 30, so the 0 amplifies the 3, and the 3 is writing. The 3 is artistic endeavors. The 3 is communication and the role of a communicative healer. And the 3 is fun. Think about the 3 of Cups. It's people socializing and having fun. There's change that is coming into your life, Aquarius, and if you want to claim that this is positive change and that you are embracing some sort of risk or your own wild nature signified by this horse, let us know in the comments below. Capricorn. Hello, beautiful Capricorn. Capricorn, you are going to experience this Pisces lunar eclipse. It's a total eclipse. We feel those more intensely. You're going to experience this in your 3rd house of moving and shaking. Now, Capricorn, I want to tell you, first of all, you're getting a sextile from this eclipse, which is really lovely. A sextile is harmonious. It means that you are meant to take some sort of action, but when you take that action, then you receive the benefit. So the action could be anywhere from releasing something that especially a mindset or a way of thinking about whatever, an obstacle, something that's been holding you back in your mindset. That's the 3rd house. Taking the steps to do that shadow work, that would be very fruitful for you. Or you're having a conversation with someone, you're meeting up with someone, you're collaborating with someone. That's also 3rd house. The 3rd house is generally people in your local neighborhood, siblings, aunts, uncles, cousins, neighbors, landlords, people that you meet when you go to the gym or you go to your yoga studio or whatever you do in your local environment. Also, writing, learning, growing, often on a mental level, the 3rd house, websites, freelance work, how you move and get around in your environment, transportation, short trips, and so on. The 3rd house is very busy. When we have an eclipse there, often our mind is really going during a 3rd house lunation, but this is an eclipse, so that's that much more supercharged. You can be letting go of something, like you had a website and it's no longer applicable to your life, or you used to like being in this local environment, whatever that is. Like maybe you want to still live in the same neighborhood, but maybe you don't want to go to the same coffee place that you've been going all the time. So you decide to go to a new one and then you meet someone there. It's a very karmic, fated energy, this lunar eclipse is. So conversations that you have, really listen to your spirit during this eclipse and follow the nudges that you get for any action that you're inspired to take. That will really make a difference for you. any trips that you want to take, even if it's just a day trip somewhere, even if it's just a hike. I met somebody that has been wonderful in my life on a hike once in Laguna Beach. And, you know, we never know what's going to happen. That's third house energy. In the traditional zodiac, the third house is Gemini energy. And so that mercurial Gemini energy is infused into all things third house. And that is being spontaneous and just letting things happen as they happen. And opening up to the magic and the synchronicities of life. And even listening to the birds and listening to, you know, the animals that you encounter, the conversations that are even happening in the background, people walking by you, anything that piques your interest, pay attention to, especially during eclipse time. So Capricorn, let me now pull a card for you. And I don't want to confuse anyone. I'm not saying that the third house for you is Gemini energy. Obviously for you, it's Pisces energy, but the traditional zodiac is Mercury. The third house is Mercury, Gemini ruled, and that is why I brought that in. There are many layers to astrology. And Capricorn, I also forgot to say that the sun will be in the 9th house, and the 9th house is long distance travel. The 9th house is spiritual beliefs, expansion, long distance travel because of the scenery, it's higher learning too. It's courses that you take. It's anything that will open you up to new vistas. So keep that in mind, because, and publishing and teaching and podcasting and broadcasting. So keep that in mind, because, you know, anything that you want to do for your new vision could involve any of those things as well. And you could be releasing a belief system or a philosophy that has held you back. This would be a good time to embrace a new learning program or teach or publish something. So let's see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Capricorn. Your card is the Joyful Muse. Have you been playing enough? It's inspiration. It's frivolity. It's, do cats really play violins? Of course they do. You know, it's letting yourself believe the magic of life, believe in the magic of life, and open up to divine inspiration for sure. Have you been moving your body to music? Have you been singing? Have you been playing? I love in this, you know, there's paints down here, like just doing artful things because they fill you up, because it's fun. It's fun to play with color for a lot of us. It is fun to sing. It is fun to look at this violin, or fiddle, whatever it is. Look how all the different collagey kind of colors on it, and all the green, which is the heart chakra. So your heart can really open up during this eclipse, beautiful Capricorn, if you allow yourself to feel the lightness of the Joyful Muse. And you can even call on the Joyful Muse, call on your own inner muse. It's time to play. Beautiful Capricorn, if you want to claim your own inspiration, your own Joyful Muse, in the comments below, let us know. I would love to hear. Sagittarius, Sagittarius, beautiful Sagittarius, beautiful Sag. You are going to have this lunar eclipse in Pisces in your 4th house of home, family, childhood conditioning, inner child healing, your ancestral line, your mother line roots, and belonging. With an eclipse in your 4th house, often that is asking you, is everything going the way you want it to go in your 4th house, or is it time for a course correction? Many of you could move during this time or do something to your home that will make it more of a sanctuary for you. Of course, that could be remodeling, that could be building a new home, that could be redecorating. It's all about intention. It's all about what your heart needs most during this time. You could be letting go of a dream that has to do with a house in some way. But I really encourage you to open up to the universe supporting you if you want to replace your house with a different house or a different kind of home, to really open up to the universe supporting you in that. Some of you will do some sort of healing on your relationship with your mother during this time, or you can call in your grandmothers, your ancestral line to support you in any kind of practice that you do. There are many meditations on YouTube. I don't have these, but other channels have them about ancestral healing. So you could look those up. You could do a search for that. There will be an ending or completion for many of you with a karmic soul cycle, karmic lessons, or could be a relationship with a family member as well. Sag, this eclipse squares your energy. What does that mean? It means that it's activating enough for you that you will probably take some sort of action with a family member or with your home, all to bring more peace, more fulfillment, more satisfaction to your heart during this time. The sun is in your house of career, so you could also be experiencing an ending, completion, peak moment, manifestation, or completion in your 10th house of career, legacy, life purpose expressed, retirement, or semi-retirement. Some of you may decide to make a big career move or releasing a career, ending your work days as well during this eclipse. So let me now pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say for you, Sag. Sagittarius. Your card is the Whale Song. I love this card so much, resonating. A lot of us now are being called to listen to the whales and tune into the whales. This is part of the new earth that is happening. Not all of you are going to resonate with you. I very much resonate with this. I often post whale songs from Instagram. They're not my own videos. Thankfully, there are a lot of people who provide them, who do film the whales, but I just wish more of them were just the whales and not the music in the background, because to me, the song of the whale, the voice of the whale is so tremendously grounding, healing, and it takes us back to a very primal place. It's just incredibly, I don't even have words for it. I just don't even have words for it. The whales just, it's like, the feeling I get, and of course, there's science and all of that and history to this, but the feeling I get with a whale is that they are our teachers. They are our leaders. They know how to rebalance our planet. They know how to bring health back to the planet, in our environment, in all ways, So if this resonates with you, it says resonating. So your resonance is changing. Your vibrational frequency has already shifted, and you may really feel some sense of balance and peace and calm when you tune into the whale song as well. Beautiful Sag. Scorpio. Hello, beautiful Scorpio. Scorpio, you are going to experience this lunar eclipse in Pisces, which makes a trine to your energy. That is the most flowing aspect. The wind is at your back. It is filling up your sails. It's quite lovely. You are sailing down a stream. You are being whisked along the ocean. It's just so lovely. This eclipse in Pisces is happening in your 5th house of creativity, children, love, and romance, your own unbridled, free, authentic expression. So of course, every eclipse is different for each person depending on your natal planets and points in your chart, and it could be activating more than just a planet or point in your 5th house, but it's really a heart activation for you, this eclipse, because the 5th house is connected to the heart. And an eclipse is either an ending, a culmination, a full circle graduation moment, or a manifestation, something coming into fruition. So in the themes that I just mentioned, it can be any of those things, but it's also, because of all the reasons I discussed in the first part of this video, it's also an ending. It's both an ending and a new beginning at the same time. So for example, you could have an ending with a romance, and you could, open yourself up to a new one, all in the span of, the 6 months that is generally when we feel eclipses. You could have a wonderful inspiration, burst of creativity during this time. You could have finally brought something creative, a project or something that you've created out into the world. So this could be that kind of a moment for you, Scorpio. You could have a child, you could get pregnant, you could birth a child, or someone, you know, your partner could, someone in your family could. Or you could realize that you thought you wanted children and now it doesn't feel in alignment with you. Or you could decide that, you know, you've been trying for children for some time and now you want to adopt. There are all these different ways that it could happen. Or you could be at a turning point in your parenting. So regardless of what it is, it's an invitation to you to lighten up, to have more fun, to bring more pleasure into your life, and to really let your creative self come back online if that part of you has been dormant. I know that's true for a lot of people who work, you know, jobs that are in the corporate world or just jobs that are repetitive, that where they feel like they put everything into their work, they're exhausted when they get home, they don't have time to really nurture their creativity or love or romance or to spend enough time with their children. And this eclipse is saying, if that's true for you, it's time to bring that back into your life and bring balance back. Bring the balance of that, bring that joy back into your life. It's the 5th house of joy. It is your inner child delight. So what did you love to do as a child, Scorpio? What brought you joy? What are you passionate about? This is a big yes. Eclipse, turning point, crossroads for some of you in these areas. So let us see what the cards have to say for you. And, oh, forgot to say, the sun is in your 11th house of what is your current dream now? What will fulfill you? Friendships, supporters, allies, long-term financial gains. So those themes could also be applicable. Okay, so now let's see what the cards have to say for you. Scorpio. The falling angel. Spiritual narcolepsy. This is a really interesting card. So first of all, I invite you to look at this card and see what you see. It's number 19, which has the 9 is about closing out and ending something, the end of a cycle, and the 1 is about a new beginning. And when we add them together, we get 1, which is a fresh start, a new cycle. But what do you think of when you think of a falling angel? I think of someone who somehow is lost, someone who doesn't know what they want, someone maybe who feels like they've fallen from grace, maybe someone who's holding something against themselves that they haven't forgiven themselves for. Spiritual narcolepsy can be a sense of, I've lost touch with my spiritual roots, my core connection with the divine. And yet there is so much white light here. This angel is truly surrounded by the light. So there's an awareness here, an awakening for some of you, an awakening to the fact that you can never lose touch with your divine source, that you're always on your path, that even when you feel like you're lost, even when you feel like you're wandering in another realm, even when you feel like you've had a setback, you are still always tethered to the divine, but we need to sometimes consciously reconnect, consciously come back into alignment and like any relationship, recommit to partnering with our soul. And I have a book, my book, The Magic of Saying Yes, is about partnering with your soul and how to have a richer divine experience so that you can do the spiritual path, which is not for the faint of heart, so that you can do the things that you think you cannot do. That is the spiritual path in a lot of ways. And if that resonates, the link is in the description box below. Beautiful Scorpio. Believe in yourself. You have everything you need to soar forward. Libra. Hello, beautiful Libra. Libra, you are going to experience the lunar eclipse in Pisces in your 6th house of daily health, wellness, pets. The 6th house is optimal health on all levels, how you manage your energy. And it is, all your routines and schedules. It's basically, what kind of lifestyle do I want to have? How do I want to do my life? What feels in alignment with me and what doesn't. When you have an eclipse in your 6th house, you want to be very mindful of your health. If you have any question at all about something with your health, definitely get it checked out. I do not want to scare anyone. This is not an eclipse that necessarily brings a crisis with health, but it can, so I'm mentioning it. Now, some of you are going to feel this in your daily work. Some of you could feel it in a toxic work relationship. You could be ready to end your job, or maybe you've already ended your job. You're walking away from a situation, a supervisor, or a place that you just feel like was not in alignment with you anymore. Some of you could say, I had this lifestyle and now I want a different lifestyle. I have been doing this habit and I realize it's not healthy for me and I'm letting go of it. I'm changing my vitamins, I'm changing the way I eat, I'm changing my exercise routine, and so on. The sun will be in the 12th house and the sun will be opposing the moon in the 6th house, so the 12th house can come in as well. How you think about your life, your subconscious mind, rewiring your inner narrative. Dreams, you could have intense dreams during this eclipse. Your spiritual connection could come through. You can have some really interesting divine awarenesses that set you on a new path, that show you the way, that show you what you're meant to do or release during this eclipse, Libra. So it's an important eclipse because our daily life and our work really affects us, right? And I believe that some of you have probably already decided to change your daily routines. You've already decided a long time ago. You've already decided something about a job, or if you're not working, you know, some of you are retired, it may just be how you do your days. What isn't sustainable must go. We are walking into new territory, new soul territory. This is a destiny-driven eclipse. So what does your heart want in this area of health and wellness? Spiritual health, mental, emotional, physical. Some of you may want to start therapy if you haven't already done so, or work with a coach, or get an astrology reading during this time. So I've been shuffling. Let's pull a card for you, Libra. And Mars is in your sign during this eclipse, and it's making a beautiful sextile to Leo energy, to Venus in Leo, which is quite beautiful, and also squaring Jupiter. So really be aware of not overdoing something, because that Mars square Jupiter could really amplify the enthusiasm, which is fabulous, but we can go overboard and we can, like eating too much or drinking too much or something that makes us feel sick afterward. Okay, and because it's a 6th house transit, I mention it. Libra, let's see what the cards have to say for you. The wall, obstacles. You are going to remove an obstacle during this eclipse. You are being guided to, you are being supported to. And for some of you, what's going on could have to do with a group, a community, or an audience of people. The spotlight could feel like it's on you. You could feel like you have to answer to a lot of people, but Libra, this eclipse is also saying no more over-sacrifice, no more people-pleasing, no more sacrificing yourself in any way. It's time to put you first, your needs first, and to draw clear boundaries. When you do so, you will be able to you will see a wall come down, you will be able to remove an obstacle, and you'll be able to move forward that much more. And the blue energy of this to me is the throat chakra, is being able to communicate your needs. And know that you have this divine light. This could be a third eye activation for some of you, this divine light and the light of spirit supporting you. Call on your angels and guides if you need support. Virgo, hello, beautiful Virgo. Virgo, you are going to experience this lunar eclipse in Pisces in your 7th house of partnerships. This is an ending, something coming to fruition, this could be a relationship that you're taking to the next level. It could be a proposal. It could be a breakup. It can go either way with a lunar eclipse. Now, lunar eclipses are known for endings. They are. But you know, you could have had an ending quite a while back. And now you're just maybe like doing the final release grieving of the relationship. Or you could be forming a new relationship. The seventh house is not just romantic relationships, it's also business, you know, professional connections. And so sometimes relationships with clients, sometimes relationships with adult children, anyone, best friendships even can fall here. Just depends on your relationship. If it's one in which you really partner, they have your back, you have their back. Whenever something big happens, you call each other, you support each other. That could fall in this house as well. We are closing out karmic soul cycles. People are, you know, there is a revolving door. People are leaving, new people are coming in. We are starting a whole new karmic soul cycle. And Virgo, if you have any planets or points at the very early degrees of your sign, you probably really felt the Virgo new moon, which was on August 22nd and 23rd, depending on your time zone. And then this eclipse, of course, will be, as I mentioned in part one of this video, it will be at 15 degrees of Pisces. And so, you know, if you have planets or points closer to that, you'll feel this more intensely. Happening on your first and your seventh house axis, because the sun is lighting up your first house, and that's your life force and your unbridled expression. That's your identity, how you see yourself. So that just makes boundaries and knowing what's good for you and what isn't good for you and what your intention is that much more important. Staying true to you, very, very important during this eclipse season. So beautiful, Virgo. Let me pull a card for you now and see what the cards have to say. Many of you have gone through turning points already because the eclipses started on in September of 2024 on this axis of your sign in Pisces. So just know that if you feel like it's been kind of a rough year, I guess it would be about a year so far now. If it feels like that, just know that you are going through a real transformation. This will be a time that you look back on this 2024 to 2027 and say, you know, I really grew during that time. That you really grew, and you are still really growing. So keep that in mind, Virgo. Okay, let's see what the cards have to say for you. Virgo. Mindful group think. Okay, so this card, first of all, what I love about this card is there's a lot of creativity. You can see all of the colors. There's a lot going on, and a lot of the images are quite beautiful. There's this gorgeous rose. There are, you know, healthy trees. There's a lot of light, but being mindful is the message. Being mindful, and you are Mercury ruled. Mercury is opposing the eclipse. It is conjunct the sun in your sign. So Mercury is a key player in this eclipse, and that is our thoughts, our thinking, and our communications and our conversations. And this is saying what the group thinks is maybe not the best thing for you. Allow yourself to be rebellious. Allow yourself to be discerning about what the community wants, or about, you know, what your workplace wants, or whatever it is, whatever any what is the word I'm looking for? You know, the norms, societal norms. Maybe they are not meant for you to conform to, Virgo, any longer. Maybe that is not serving you. So being really mindful of your choices and making sure that they are in alignment with you, and some meditation, some soothing, calming practices, some journaling, anything that you can do to clear your mind could be quite helpful during this time. Beautiful Virgo, if whatever I've shared resonates for you and you want to leave me a comment, let me know. I'd love to hear. Leo. Hello, beautiful Leo. Leo, you will experience this total lunar eclipse in Pisces in your 8th house. A lunar eclipse is endings, completions, full circle moments, and sometimes a peak experience, a peak moment. The 8th house is a financial and partnership house, emotional and sexual intimacy, as well as shared resources. And it's, you know, paying off debts and getting loans, investments, realizing returns on your investments or not sometimes. Sometimes it can be a loss, but other times it could be an inheritance. A lunar eclipse is a wild card energy. We don't know. A lot of times it is something that is being eclipsed out of our lives, but it can also be something really amazing that shows up that we didn't plan on, like, you know, a windfall of money. So know that this house is the house of power. It's the house of power and control, emotional attachments, and the things that we want to hold on to. So it may be quite an intense eclipse for you because of the subject matter that's involved here, but it's a great time to have conversations. Mercury is supporting that. Mercury will be opposite the eclipse, so it's very possible that if this eclipse is activating any planet or point in your chart, that you will feel it in a conversation. You will get news. Somebody will want to talk to you, or you'll want to talk to someone else. You could be negotiating something. You could be negotiating a contract. You could be negotiating an agreement. You could be splitting up resources, selling a home, you could be buying a home. A partnership could be ending, whether it's business or romantic or any kind of partnership that's been quite important to your life. A client could be ending their time with you. The sun will be in your second house, and that is self-reliance and material security and your own earned income and self-love, self-worth, and deserving. So you may be guided during this eclipse to do some sort of reckoning, so to speak, some sort of analysis or assessment of is your financial life working for you? Eighth house is more the long-term finances, like real estate and investments and so on, and the second house is more like your regular income that's coming in, and you may be guided to look at that and change that up in some way. And same with these themes of self-worth and self-love and your own intimacy with your inner child. You might want to do some deepening of that. Okay, so Leo, let's see what the cards have to say for you. I don't mean to make this, I feel like I got a little heavy in that, and that's only because the eighth house can be heavier, but it doesn't mean that this is going to be a heavy transit for you. Like I said, it's a wild card. We don't know. That's the thing about eclipses. We do not know how they're going to play out. There is a big surrender that we have to do. And you're already familiar with that energy, Leo, because you have Pisces in your eighth house. So to a certain degree, you have to surrender to relationships that involve shared resources, time, or energy, right? You have to surrender to that to a certain degree. You don't have control over it. The divine has control over that. And so a lot of you have already worked on this. Now you do have Virgo in your second house of your own income and so forth. And that is where you probably assert more control in your life. In Virgo energy, we want things to be a certain way. And we do try to assert more control. But we do have control over the choices we make, how we respond to things, and how we love ourselves and how we build confidence within ourselves, right, Leo? So those are all things you might want to approach during this eclipse. Let's see what the cards have to say for you. Leo. Ooh, I love this card. The Moon Maiden, New Beginnings. Yeah. So to me, all of the green, well, first of all, Leo, the green, I was going to say Virgo energy in your second house, but the green is also you. It's the heart chakra. And there is this full moon here, and the Moon Maiden is just floating in space. She is being in her comfort zone. She is being her lyrical self. There's a new beginning that's on offering for you that's really going to touch or activate your heart. It's going to make you happy. You know, you could have a peak experience of this moon that is not just financial, but maybe it's deep emotional intimacy or a wonderful sexual bond. But there's a new beginning for you. And if you want to claim your new beginning from the Moon Maiden, how perfect with this being a lunar eclipse, let us know in the comments below, Leo. I would love to hear. Cancer. Hello, beautiful Cancer. Cancer, I have my moon and my rising in Cancer, and we are very much affected by lunations, new and full moons. Actually, all the moon cycles, Cancer people feel them. The moon fluctuates every 2 or 3 days. And so Cancer people really have to learn to go with the flow and ride with the tide, right? And here we have a lunar eclipse. So this one is a trine to your energy, which is the most harmonious aspect. It's quite lovely. So I really look forward to hearing from you what, if anything, is going on for you. We can feel eclipses days before, days after, sometimes months before. We've been in this eclipse season for a while, since that Virgo new moon that was October 22nd and 23rd. So it's in your ninth house of expansion, which is meant to expand you, is meant for you to have new sceneries, new vistas, for some of you it's long distance travel, for others of you it's a course or teaching a course or putting yourself out there in terms of publishing something. You could be starting something in which you are sharing your message, sharing your philosophy, sharing your wisdom. The question is, what are you being called to? This is a callings house. This is a house of being called. What's calling you, Cancer? Do you know what that is? It's possible that you could be foggy about that right now. I just want to share that because, you know, we are still in this very in-between time of letting something go and being called to something. And I think a lot of people are beginning to recognize, the ones that are really, really tuned in right now, and you are very psychic, Cancer. You could be becoming aware of something in your own mindset or a limiting belief, as we call it, that has held you back. And now you could be having a lot of light bulb moments right now that are helping you clear away things. And I mentioned that in the first part of this video, and that's tremendously freeing. So sometimes that has to happen before we get this very strong sense of, okay, now I want to go do this. Okay, so I think I mentioned all of the ninth house themes, but because the sun's in the third house, that is the house of the mindset. So I just talked about mindset, communication, a communication that you weren't expecting could come during this eclipse time. Mercury will be transiting your third house. So be aware of divine downloads, communications, conversations you have with people, things that people are saying in the background at the coffee shop that you're having coffee, you know, or working at. I tend to work in coffee shops when I'm doing things like my newsletter. So if you work on your own, you get what I'm talking about, or you might want to change your local environment in some way. You may not be happy with where you are, where you work, where you attend things, all those things. You could find a need to change those things, or something could just shut down, something could close down that you weren't expecting. And then you find a new place and it sparks you. It sparks your inspiration. It feels better to you. Cancers have to they have to spend time in places that feel good to them, right? You know this, Cancer. Do you ever walk into a restaurant and you're like, okay, I want to sit there? I mean, that's a very Cancer thing. We feel comfortable. Usually it's like a corner table where you've got that nice corner surrounding you. You know, you feel not enclosed, but you feel like you're getting the support of two walls. And then, you know, oftentimes Cancer people, they don't want to sit in the middle of the room because they don't feel safe and secure there. Cancers like to feel safe in their environments. Leave me a comment. Let me know if that resonates with you. But because the sun is in the third house, this whole axis of the third and ninth house is the axis of growth and learning and expansion and expanding the mind and feeling free and feeling liberated. So this is an axis of learning and new discoveries and new websites for some of you, writing, publishing, expressing what you want, and you could feel like you're really being called to a new life direction. So now let me pull a card for you, Cancer, and see what the cards have to say. For the total lunar eclipse in Pisces, Cancers, your card is the cosmic womb. And the womb is very Cancer, the divine feminine. What a beautiful card. This is saying allow yourself to be held by the divine feminine. There's some nurturing. Cancers are used to nurturing others. A lot of Cancer rising and some Cancer suns, they were the nurturer for their mothers or both parents even. You are the cosmic mother, Cancer. But, and this is whether you're male or female, but now the divine is saying you could really receive a lot of healing or of comfort or of nurturing by allowing yourself to return to the cosmic womb. And I'm almost getting a sense of like rebirth, like going back to the cosmic womb and receiving healing from the divine and then going through a rebirth and feeling brand new again, erasing your past, energetically allowing your past to be erased so that you can start fresh. Call on the divine feminine to hold you and comfort you and swaddle you even, because a whole new beginning is waiting for you, beautiful Cancer. Gemini. Hello, beautiful Gemini. Gemini, I have my natal sun in Gemini. And you are going to be experiencing this if you're a Gemini rising, this lunar eclipse in Pisces in your 10th house of career. If you don't have a career, it is your passion, whatever your purpose is, if you have a sense of that, or what your legacy is, what you want to leave, what you want to contribute to the planet, your life purpose expressed, retirement, semi-retirement. I believe that a lot of Geminis are taking a close look at their career. This can be an ending, a completion, a full circle graduation moment, but it can also be a peak moment in your career. And if this eclipse is making an aspect to your midheaven, which is called the MC in your chart, you will probably feel it that much more intensely. You could feel like you're at a turning point. You could feel like you're really having to look at how you work, what you do. For some of you, it's how you do what you do. For others of you, it's what you do. For others of you, it's like, okay, what's my next, if you love what you do, what's my next expression of what I do? Is there something else that I want to say yes to? Pisces energy is, are you letting the divine guide you? Are you letting your heart and your soul show you the way? Or are you trying to do it in accordance with someone else's path or what your company line is? In Pisces energy, we have to be attuned to our hearts to be on track with our spirit and our divine mission. And the 10th house can feel very mission-like. And if you are retired or semi-retired, or you're going to be, because this is one of those turning point times, a lunar eclipse where we step out of the workforce and we step into a different kind of life, you could be saying, what can I do maybe to make money on the side? What can I do if I am retired and I don't need to make money on the side? Maybe what, where do I want to live? You could bring in your home for sure too, because the sun will be in the 4th house. So it's on the 4th and 10th house axis, which is career, everything I just mentioned, and then home, family, and healing your inner child. That could come into play for some of you too. But yeah, it could be a house move for some of you. It can be a career move. It can be a change of lifestyle, change of relationship too. Like I said in the first part of this video, in 2006, that was the last time that we had this eclipse at the same degree. It conjuncted my midheaven as it will this time, my career point, and my marriage ended. My divorce was final, in court, final. And that did affect what I did going forward career-wise. That's when I began to launch my spiritual coaching and, created a website not too long after that. But you get the idea. They affected one another. But sometimes we have to let go of what has been holding us back, what's not in alignment with us. And that can be a relationship before we can open up to the new career, the new life phase, and so forth. So Gemini, or you could be getting married during this time. You could be, signing on the dotted line for something. It's not necessarily career or a relationship. You could be making some commitment. You could be feeling quite ambitious, or you could be feeling like I'm done with something. Something isn't sustainable for me anymore. I just can't anymore. Gemini. Your card is Lay of the Land, Ancestral Wisdom. Ancestral wisdom is the 4th house, where the sun will be, where the moon will be opposing. Lay of the land. This person is having a peak experience. And look at the eclipse energy. This is eclipse energy. I love it. Lunar eclipse energy, the orange. The whole card has this red, orange, very lunar eclipse looking coloring. This person has their arms open wide. It's one of those images of, I made it. I made it to the top. You could feel like you just climbed a mountain, goal-wise. You just reached a goal. And you're just basking in that. You're basking in the eclipse energy, feeling what it feels like to have this accomplishment. You could be saying, now what? Now what? Or you could be saying, yay, I'm finally retired. Or yay, I'm finally going to start my own business. Or I'm selling a business. Ancestral wisdom. This is encouraging you to call on your ancestors for their wisdom, or to look into your ancestral line if you have questions that you are not able to easily resolve, or you want more inspiration, or maybe you're claiming the wisdom of your own ancestral line. Beautiful Gemini, let me know if this resonates. I would love to hear in the comments below. Taurus, hello, beautiful Taurus. Taurus, you are going to experience this lunar eclipse in Pisces in your 11th house. Your 11th house is friendships, social media platforms, long-term financial gains, how you feel supported, your allies, groups and communities that you hang out with. And it's also long-term financial gains and the dream of your life right now. What will bring you fulfillment? It represents completion, especially with a lunar eclipse. It represents a cycle ending. And it's the World card in the tarot, so it's like coming back around again. Now, some of you could be promoting or branding something during this time, a business or something that's important to you. You could be doing some sort of social activism work. That's also the 11th house. It's online platforms, online communities, online dating. The sun will be in the 5th house of creativity, children, and love and romance. So this is going to be a romantic eclipse, I believe, because of the sextile I mentioned in the first part of this video. Mars in Libra will be making a lovely aspect to Venus in Leo. So just keep that in mind, that if you want to do online dating, or some of you could be taking some sort of friendship or involvement in a group to the next level, deepening a friendship, deepening a romance. Starting or ending a social media platform, ending the way that you do these 11th house matters. If you already have an online presence, you could be making a change to that. Or you could be thinking about, you're starting something new. It's going to be both for a lot of us. For a lot of us, it's an ending and a new beginning. That is the nature of this eclipse. What is it for you, Taurus? Leave me a comment. I would love to know. Just know that, this could be financial for you too, because long-term gains do fall here. So this could involve investments for you. And because it's a wild card energy, we don't know. Is it a gain? Is it a loss? We don't know. But it is long-term financial gains, but it's a lunar eclipse. And so it's a wild card energy, and it can be, these eclipses, they can be taking something away. They can be bringing something in. It could be a windfall of money. We have to see. And also, like when I'm doing a natal astrology consultation with you, I look at the transits that are going on with the other planets at the same time and how they're activating any planets or points in your chart. Because when we do these YouTube readings, it's just your rising sign that we can look at. We can't see your chart, but when I do a one-on-one reading, I look at everything going on in your chart and how the eclipse is impacting it. It's a whole story that is woven together by everything going on in your chart at once. So Taurus, let me shuffle for you a little bit more, and then we will see what the cards have to say for you. Oh, and I forgot to say that you get a lovely sextile from this eclipse to your rising sign, to your Taurus rising. Or your Taurus sun or your Taurus moon. You get a sextile. And that means, a card just flipped, that means a sextile is you taking in some initiative and it brings in a benefit to you, some sort of opportunity or a solution or something that is tangible, a tangible positive thing for you. So your card is teachability. And it's the hollow bone. It's 28, which is a 1 energy. It's also abundance, the 8, and 2 is partnering with another to create abundance. But the hollow bone is a really interesting card because, first of all, the main message is be teachable, be open, let people show you the way. But the second thing, and what I really love about this card, is that this image, somebody created this out of different things in nature, right? Feathers, the skull of a deer, or a buck in the antlers. And there's the throat chakras involved here because it's like a musical instrument. The hollow bone has been made into a musical instrument, and it's been etched with various carved images as well as, it looks like turquoise. And then the feathers hang. So it has a feeling the feeling I get from this card is ancient wisdom, the ancestors, the animals, and the wisdom of the deer or the elk, but also the fact that we can be resourceful and create beauty. We can create art, and art is, it's a metaphor for a lot of beauty in our lives. We can create artful things and things that bring us beauty and pleasure, which I know is very important to you, Taurus, being ruled by Venus. We can do that by being resourceful and pulling together a lot of things in nature and in the world and creating our own work of art, creating our own collage art, so to speak, our own beauty and contributions to the world using our resourcefulness, if only we will be teachable. So this could be a nudge to take a course. It could be a nudge to begin to use the things that you have around in your environment or in your home and create from there. A lot of different meanings for a lot of you, and it'll be different for all of you, but let me know what you see from this card or anything else that you want to comment on from this reading, beautiful Taurus. Aries. Hello, beautiful Aries. Aries, you are going to experience this total lunar eclipse in Pisces in your 12th house of the mystical. Eclipses are always mystical, and having your 12th house in Pisces means that you are poised, if you haven't already, for some sort of incoming insight, awakening, message from a dream, something that wants to help move you forward. Because, we see eclipses, lunar eclipses, as times of closure. We see lunar eclipses as times of culmination, of endings and completions, and also sometimes they can be a peak moment. But it's the 12th house, which is the ethereal realms. It's the other realms. It's, astral travel and our nighttime dreams, and also, though, karmic relationships. So you could definitely feel during this eclipse that something is closing out for you and completing, whether that's a karmic soul contract with another person, or it is a lesson that you have learned, something you're graduating from. Or maybe you are one of the lucky ones who's going to have a moment of astral travel or something else that occurs that is, you just know that the divine had a hand in it. And that's fabulous. I love it when those things happen. There's a chapter in my book toward the end of my book where I talk about all of those kinds of experiences that I've had that have been out of this world, truly out of this world. And those are the experiences that keep us going, in my experience. They keep us going because they remind us of the truth of who we are, and they leave us in awe. So this could be an eclipse in which you feel that you are in awe, that you have an intense, visceral experience that leaves you in ecstasy or awe. You could be rewiring a subconscious belief during this time, because the 12th house is also our subconscious. So be aware of any fears that come up and purge those fears, release them. There are a lot of ways to do that. And you could do that through a meditation as well. You can also download a meditation from my website and receive that for free when you sign up for my weekly inspirational astrology updates. But I have meditations on YouTube as well that you can listen to on my channel. They are linked in the description box below. The sun will be in your 6th house of daily work, your wellness, your habits, and your lifestyle, and your routines and schedules and all of that. So those themes could come up for you as well. Pay close attention to your wellness, your energy, your health. Get lots of rest if you need it. You know, do the things that we do to renew our energy if you need that. This is probably an eclipse in which a lot of you are going to want to rest and just take care of you. You might want to be alone. It could be quite reflective time for you. You could just be wanting to be rest in the hand of spirit, so to speak. So let's pull a card for you now, Aries. Aries. Your card is Many Masks the Authentic Self. So I talked about the subconscious mind and how, that's where our narrative is in the 12th house. And so this card is saying that if you've been wearing a mask, we all have masks that we wear based on our conditioning until we don't wear them anymore. It's a way that we learn how to receive acceptance and love from the people in our lives so that we can survive and be as happy as possible, right? But this eclipse is really asking us to tune into the question of, do we feel we have to act a certain way or serve others or do things for others in order to receive approval or love? And do we feel worthy of love, acceptance, friendship, just for who we are? Do we feel worthy of all the things that we want to experience just because we're here? That is one of the things that may come up for you during this eclipse. And so it can be a wonderful release to say, I used to feel, and this could have been unconscious until it becomes conscious. You could feel like, I used to think that I had to do things for people so that I could receive their love. Now I know, no, I'm worthy because of who I am. I'm worthy because I am a being who decided to come into this body and this earth, and I have a beating heart. I am worthy because my spirit brought me here. No judgments. No, you have to be this way or that. No, you have to make this person happy. No, you have to do none of that. None of it. You're worthy because you're here. This is about authenticity, because when we can drop those masks that we hold on to so that we can survive in this earthly world and feel loved and worthy, when we drop those, then we become more and more authentic, right, Aries? And there's so much light. This is really saying you are a spirit of light. And maybe there's a new spiritual identity for some of you in claiming your light. If you want to claim your light, if you want to claim your spiritual identity, your true authentic self, or you have anything else you want to comment on, let me know in the comments below, beautiful Aries. I would love to hear. My beautiful friend, thank you so much for joining me for this total lunar eclipse video. I am very excited for this eclipse. I am ready for it. I hope that you are too. Thank you for giving this video a like, a thumbs up. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing with other people who love astrology. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. When you subscribe, you support the algorithm to share this video with more people. And that really does support my work and the channel and lets me continue to be able to do these videos for you. If you'd like to do a private astrology reading with me, go to my website, check out my offerings. There are many choices for you, but most important, I want you to know that it is my absolute joy to work with you and meet you on Zoom and help connect you to anything that I see in your natal chart having to do with gifts, talents, or whatever. If you're searching for your life purpose, if you're searching for, you want to know about a specific heart's desire, or there are multiple areas of your life that are very up for you right now. One of my offerings is a 90-minute consultation, and a lot of people choose that if they want a little bit of coaching or time that we can spend really talking about something or some things that are super important to you now. So go to my website, check out the offerings, check out the testimonials that other clients have shared after working with me. That should give you a sense if you feel called to schedule online. And I offer coaching offerings as well, including a clarity session to support you in any area of your life. As promised, I have a free gift for you. That free gift is a soothing guided meditation to reconnect you with your divine source, with your guides, to receive a gift from the divine. Go to my website, sign up for free to get my weekly inspirational astrology updates, and you'll get that free instant download at the same time. My beautiful friend, let me know what you are feeling, sensing, thinking about this lunar eclipse in Pisces. I love to hear from you as well. And until my next video, I'm sending you all my love.